this video, we will look at making changes to the IRRICAD database using a different method. First, let's look at the database structure using the IRRICAD editor. We can see that the items are grouped under tabs called pipe, tapes, valves, etc. The database is actually made up of tables. Here is a view using Microsoft Access. Most of the items are stored in the components table, regardless of whether they are pipes or valves, sprinklers or tees. We can show or modify the contents of these tables using a language called SQL. SQL queries can be complex and powerful. There are, however, simple queries that can be very useful to the everyday IRRICAD user. We will go over these in this video. Here are some examples of more complex queries. We'll update database prices in this video. Before making any modifications to your database, always make a backup copy of your database and take care while making modifications. We'll now look at how to run some queries from within the database editor. On the tabs across the top to the far right, you may see a tab called Query. If you don't see this, go to Tools and Options and make sure that the Show Query tab is checked. There are also some toolbars here to execute, save, and delete queries, and you can activate those under Tools, Customize, and make sure the toolbar query is turned on. It's possible to save queries, and I've saved a few here. And first one here is Show Pipe Types. And so this is the query down here in the lower area. Select means select and show. Star means everything, all columns. From is from the pipe table. And so we have the type, the gender, the connection, the fitting, the bending angle, the rounding, and the roll lengths. These are all in metric. You'll need to convert from feet to metric if you edit this part of the table. So that's a very simple query, select star from pipe table. Another one is to show some control valves. In this case, we've just asked the query to give us 3 columns, not all the information. And rather than select star, we've put select components description, components warehouse code, and components order. If we double click on the order tab, we can see that there are 4 valves in order 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we go to the valve section of the database, those 4 valves are the first 4 on the list. And when you're within a design selecting a valve for a zone, these will appear first on the list. Going back to the query, let's say that I want to make this 6-inch Nelson pressure regulating valve number 5 on the list. So I can change that to 5. And now when I go back to the valve section of the database, this 6-inch pressure regulating valve is number 5 on the list. So that query column is quite powerful because you normally can't see that in the standard database editor. But if you show it using a query, you can change the numbers and have the drop-down list appear as you would like. I'm now going to use a query to update some prices in the database from a spreadsheet file. First, let's look at the current price of some tees. And this is just the 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch tees, and this was the query that I wrote to do that, limiting it to these 4 columns and those 3 tees, and here we have the prices. So now I'm going to select the query that will update those prices, and the query is down here, and we can see it's a little bit more complex, and we can see that it's referencing this T prices spreadsheet, which has at least the columns of warehouse code, wholesale price, and retail price. Once we run that query, it will read the prices from that spreadsheet and update the database. Do we want to update? Yes. And now we have updated prices for those 3 T's. And so you could export from your accounting software a list with warehouse code and pricing and format that into a spreadsheet and update your IRRICAD database very rapidly. The purpose of this video was to give you an idea how to use queries in managing and modifying your database. While writing the queries can dive into some computing language, the operation of the queries once they're written is very simple. So we have resource material if it's something that you would like to learn how to do, or if it was something that you would like to pass on to your IT people to write queries that you would use on a regular basis. Please let us know.